Smith's team is going to want to emphasize that.
All right. Well, that concludes this NBC News special report. We'll have much more ahead on NBC Nightly News, which will be any moment now for many of you. I'm Lester Holt. Thank you for watching.
And we have you covered on some local headlines today. Hello, everyone. I'm David Ushery in for Chuck Scarborough.
I'm Natalie Pasquarella. We're going to start things off with breaking news just coming in out of Midtown Manhattan. This is our first look we're getting here from Chopper. A driver who was running from police has hit 4 pedestrians. You're looking at the scene live from Chopper 4 above 42nd and Lexington. If you look close, you can see a crashed maroon SUV there and another vehicle there on the left. He's going to zoom in for us. The NYPD telling us officers pulled over a driver who then took off, possibly in a stolen car. Shortly after that, the driver hit a 5-year-old and 7-year-old and 2 others. But we're told the injuries are not serious. We're still working to get info on that. Police arrested a passenger in the car, but the driver, we're told, jumped out and ran away. Again, this happening on the evening rush hour here. Any new info we get, we'll pass along to you on air and at NBCNewYork.com.
Going to head to Long Island now. We're getting our first look at the suspected Gilgo Beach serial killer in court since he pleaded not guilty to killing at least 3 women. Architect Rex Heuermann was dressed in a suit as he faced a judge today, charged after a 13-year investigation. News Source Greg Sergel reporting in Riverhead to show us what else happened in court today.
The man prosecutors call the Gilgo killer said nothing out loud in court today, but Rex Heuermann did glance back as he walked out. Sitting in that packed courtroom were family members of Heuermann's alleged victims. They later declined comment through Suffolk's DA.
It's a very personal thing for the victims' families, so we're going to support the victims' families.
DA Tierney today provided defense lawyers what he called a massive amount of evidence against Heuermann. 5 hard drives containing roughly 2,500 pages of documents and photos, with more to come. Some of that alleged evidence just taken from Heuermann's Massapequa Park home, his storage unit sent his New York City office.
The press has convicted my client without seeing a shred of evidence. So he doesn't stand a chance with the press. And we're not going to try the case in the press.
Heuermann's lawyer says prosecutors could well have the wrong man in this case. Rex Heuermann is charged with the murders of 3 sex workers and is a prime suspect in the killing of a 4th. All the bodies found 13 years ago buried along Ocean Parkway.
What has my client told me? He told me he didn't do this.
Michael Brown says he's built a team of lawyers to review the prosecution evidence, including what the New York Post reports are parts of a bathtub and bathroom tiles taken from Heuermann's home. DA Tierney wouldn't say today if more charges are coming soon against Heuermann.
You wait until all the facts are in, and then you draw conclusions from those facts. We just have to wait for the process to play out.
Heuermann's lawyer ruled out any plea deal in this case, saying his client looks forward to his day in court. He'll be back before a judge here in Riverhead September 27th. In Riverhead, Greg Sergel, News 4 New York.
The state of New Jersey is mourning the loss of its lieutenant governor. She died just 1 day after going to the hospital. Sheila Oliver was serving as acting governor when she was taken to the hospital for an unknown medical issue. Governor Phil Murphy is en route back to the state right now. News 4's Checky Beckford is in Livingston tonight with what made her such a trailblazer.
Good afternoon, everyone.
A trailblazer and pioneer.
She was a person that broke many glass ceilings.
New Jersey's Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver being remembered tonight by politicians and her community.
She helped so many, and I was so proud of her when she made the first black lieutenant governor.
The 71-year-old Oliver's family announcing her death today, saying in part she was not only a distinguished public servant, but also our cherished daughter, sister, aunt, friend, and hero. Oliver, the first woman to serve as Speaker of the state's General Assembly, had been hospitalized this week for an undisclosed medical condition while serving as acting governor during Phil Murphy's vacation in Italy.
She's been suffering for a little while now. This has been pretty long time, experience for her.
Longtime friend and chair of New Jersey Democratic State Committee, Leroy Jones Jr., says Oliver leaves behind a legacy of service.
She was a fighter for, social justice and improvement in housing and, uplifting individuals to give them a better wage she was an advocate for, women's rights.
In East Orange, where Oliver lived, the flag outside City Hall has been lowered to half staff, and bunting hangs over the entrance. Governor Murphy sending his condolences from overseas, saying in part, "I knew that her decades of public service made her the ideal partner for me to lead the state of New Jersey. It was the best decision I ever made." Senate President Nicholas Scutari, now serving as acting governor, says as New Jersey pauses to remember Oliver, state business remains in good hands during Murphy's absence.
There's no reason for him to rush back. The arrangements aren't ready. He will be back to honor the lieutenant governor at the appropriate time. The arrangements are still being figured out.
Jackie Beckford, News 4, New York.
After promises of not having migrants sleeping on the streets, it does appear hundreds of asylum seekers will be spending a second night doing just that in New York City. Here in Midtown at the Roosevelt Hotel, the temporary migrant processing center is at capacity. It does not appear much is changing. News 4 Government Affairs reporter Melissa Russo has an update.
A chaotic scene on 46th Street as city staff and police tried to impose some order on the line of asylum seekers, some pushing after days in a police pen, weary from the wait. One police officer communicating in the language of Wolof to these African migrants currently in the front of the line for shelter. There are also many Venezuelans on this line, like Jose, who arrived here yesterday and told us he doesn't mind waiting.
We've had to make some choices, some very hard choices, and it's heartbreaking.
We're trying. We can't open up new spaces fast enough.
New Yorkers not quite getting adjusted to this sight.
It's really depressing to see.
There is no more room.
For a year, Mayor Eric Adams held as a point of pride that migrants were not sleeping in New York's streets. Now, that's becoming a new normal. Volunteer Adama Ba has worked on the front lines as migrants enter New York. She thinks Mayor Adams is trying to send a message with migrants on the street.
The mayor has purposely said we're not giving them shelter. We're going to leave them in the streets. So they left them outside in the streets. Some have been there for 5 days.
You think it's on purpose?
Of course it's on purpose. We're one of the richest cities in the world, and we cannot figure out a housing crisis. We cannot figure out how to put people who are unhoused into the shelter system and take them out and house them properly.
Adama also explains that the black migrants we see here on the front of the line have always been part of the influx. She says they just don't get as much attention nor services as Latin American migrants.
The issue is that they're fleeing from war. They are targeted, and if they don't leave, they are killed.
Melissa Russo, News 4 New York.
Storm Team 4's Janice Huff is back now, looking like a pretty nice week ahead, Janice.
Yeah, a beautiful day today, certainly. This Earth Cam view of lower Manhattan is always my favorite. Right now, it's 78 degrees in Midtown with a northeasterly breeze and dew points in the 40s. Dry air. It's going to be a quiet night overnight. We clear out by 11 o'clock, and temperatures are back in the 60s in the city tonight and 50s everywhere else. 71 right now in Monticello, you're 80 in Clinton and Newark. Time-lapse showing on the hour-by-hour forecast. It is quiet tonight and chilly. Maybe some upper 40s in the Catskills and Poconos again. And another beautiful day tomorrow with dry skies and temperatures in the 70s to low 80s. It does start to cloud up a little bit more on Thursday morning. There'll be a chance for some isolated showers on Thursday afternoon. This is at 3 o'clock. And here we go through the overnight. There will be some showers overnight into early Friday morning, moving across the area as well. But still another chance continuing into Friday afternoon. That's our day when we'll need the umbrellas. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty nice. Temperature-wise, humidity does tick up a bit on Thursday, Friday, but then after that, it's dry again. 62 in Midtown tonight, 52, 50s north and west, maybe some upper 40s, and we'll get to see that full sturgeon moon tonight, too, once the clouds clear out. 81 degrees tomorrow, lots of sunshine. It's the last dry day. There is a slight chance for some showers on Thursday, but not everyone will see rain. Looking at our exclusive 10-day forecast, we've got warmer weather returning next week, mid-80s, but that's close to average this time of year. Back to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Janice. So that's going to do it for this abbreviated edition of News 4 at 6 o'clock. Of course, the team over at NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt still in place, still busy right now. I'm going to have a full breakdown of the indictment of former President Trump.
And we'll have you covered tonight on News 4 New York at 11 and on News 4 at 7 in just about 30 minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you soon. Have a good night.
Breaking news tonight, the 45-page indictment against Donald Trump for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election.